Deserve to know when new videos get uploaded. Show them they're not the boss of you by smashing that bell icon, so you can be notified when your favorite content creators are begging for your attention. Okay, the first Captain Marvel trailer just dropped. I'm very excited for this, but I'm also a little nervous about the SJW/feminist politics that may have potentially seeped into this movie because of Brie Larson being very outspoken about that type of stuff, and also because of Marvel Comics currently being in the sorry state that they're in. I said previously that if they just leave the politics out of this, they can make the great Captain Marvel movie that we all want. But if they don't, this could backfire on them pretty badly. Fingers crossed. Let's take a look at this thing. We begin with Carol Danvers falling to Earth, probably how the movie begins, but if she's already crashing to Earth in the 1990s when the movie takes place, that means she's already spent some time in space with the Kree at this point, so how far back is this movie going? I thought she would have gotten her powers in this time period, but maybe that happened in the 80s. I suppose it depends how old she's supposed to be, or if she even still ages after she gets her powers. Considering the time jump between this movie and Avengers 4, maybe she doesn't. Product placement. But it's 1990s product placement for a company that doesn't really exist anymore, so that makes it less annoying and more quaint, I guess? We get a voiceover by young Nick Fury, and him bringing Carol to a SHIELD facility. According to the narration, this sounds like part of the story is going to be about Earth's first contact with an alien race, so there could be some Area 51 type stuff going on here, as we see what appears to be an alien on the dissection table. How nice. Space invasion. So the Kree and/or Skrulls may be attacking Earth. We know the Kree-Skrull War is going to be a part of the movie, and that there will be Skrulls on Earth, so they may be using elements of the Secret Invasion storyline as well. So you have to figure that the funniest part of the trailer, Carol punching out this old lady, is her actually punching a Skrull in disguise. So maybe Carol has a way of detecting Skrulls who are hidden somehow? Car chase. Some cool action shots here on top of a train. Carol's not flying yet, so maybe she needs to absorb a certain amount of energy for that? Okay, I like what I'm seeing so far. Young Nick Fury with 2 eyes. A+ on that de-aging technology, Marvel. That looks almost flawless. Very impressive work right there. So you're not from around here? It's hard to explain. Origin. A spaceship flying to a planet that is not Earth. Maybe the Kree homeworld, perhaps? This is probably the flashbacks of how Carol meets the Kree and gets her powers, but we know they've made changes to the origin and she won't be getting her powers from Marvel, at least not the same way she did in the comics, so maybe this is an abduction? Maybe she gets her powers in some kind of freak accident and that's why she's taken? I'm digging the cinematography here, it looks really nice. Carol's having memories and flashes of a life she had on Earth, which hints at some kind of amnesia storyline, and I don't know if I like the sound of that. An amnesia story is very difficult to pull off. They did it in Spider-Man 3 and it was stupid as hell. So maybe the Kree erased her memories? Or maybe the amnesia is a side effect of the powers? That might explain why she looks so nonplussed about being on an alien planet here. So that's another sign of them deviating from the comics, which, I repeat, I'm not against in this case because of the comics themselves being so bad right now. But once you start doing that, you're on a slippery slope, and it's just gonna make it easier to change things more and more, and before you know it, you're changing things that don't need to be changed, and that's how you wind up with a Venom origin movie that doesn't have Spider-Man in it. So, tread carefully, Marvel. Flashbacks of Carol's childhood. Carol in boot camp. Carol as a fighter pilot after some crash. This looks like where she gets her powers. I'm gonna guess that happens because of some interaction between the Kree and the Skrulls, which she happens upon while on a mission, presumably this mission. Here we have Carol hooked up to something. Possibly a restraint device, or maybe it's using her powers as some kind of battery? That wouldn't be unheard of. Space Corps. Marvel. What makes her a hero? Uh-oh, there it is. Our first hint of gender politics. Was that necessary? You couldn't just say hero? You had to add a gender to it? Look, I know it's a big deal since it's Marvel's first female-led film, but the politics are not needed or welcome. Warner Brothers didn't get political with Wonder Woman, and that worked out really well for them. In fact, it was pretty much the only time a DCEU film has worked out really well for them. People are going to see this because it's a Marvel film, but when you inject politics into it, all you're going to do is alienate fans who might want to see the movie otherwise. But that shouldn't be an issue if this is as far as it goes. This wasn't egregious, let's not take it any further, and we should be okay. Ronin, young Agent Coulson, classic Kree suits that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't have the budget for. Oh, cool, I'm glad we get to see those. And the final Captain Marvel suit, with Carol powering up to do something awesome, hopefully. I'm not what you think I am. Well, I'm not sure what I think you are yet, Carol, and maybe you aren't either. Maybe that's what you're thinking about in all these shots of your dull, blank stare. But that aside, I do think this trailer is pretty nice. It looks promising, the CG is on point, we get some hints of how they changed the origin, and the changes all seem reasonable so far. Although Brie Larson is not emoting very much. At all. We know she can act, she's been great in other things, so maybe it's just the clips they chose. I think she looks the part, but her performance from what we see here seems wooden, to say the least. Marvel's casting hasn't screwed up yet, so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one for the time being, but if we don't see some emotion from Carol in the next trailer, that could be a bad sign. Now, we do get a hint of gender politics, and that is cause for concern, but we don't see it in the movie itself yet, so it could just be a marketing thing. Of course, marketing the film that way could kill it just as easily, so let's not take that any further. No one wants this to get political, Marvel. We don't need another Ghostbusters remake on our hands. Just focus on making a good movie. You look like you could have a good one here, but there are a couple things I'm worried about. Hopefully in the next trailer we'll see Brie Larson break out a second facial expression, because that one is not going to be enough. But what do you guys think? Do you think Captain Marvel looks good? Bad? Are you worried about the politics? The acting? Sound off down below. And while you're at it, toss the video a thumbs up to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. That thing makes it real hard to get noticed on this platform, so every comment and thumbs up helps. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and smash that bell icon to be notified when new videos get uploaded. I talk movies, TV, comics, trailers, and more. So if you like what you see, stay tuned, and I'll be back real soon with the next one. Until then, over. Out.